Over this past week, the army of ISIS swallowed up parts of Iraq like a darkness. In just one day, tens of thousands of Christians fled villages like Karakush and Bartilla, just about 25 miles away. Most have come here to Erbil with nothing more than the clothes on their back.
They take everything from the house, from the store, everything. And they take like machine, everything, because they are Christian. Just the name Christian. They hate Christian especially. We don't know why.
It was leave or die.
They say if anyone don't become like Muslim, we're gonna kill it. Kill it. Each one, from baby and woman, one, old man.
We don't have anything here. They bombed the churches and already took our houses. We have nothing here. No money, no ID, no travel documents.
What's happening now to the Christians, to the Yazidis, to the minorities, and like in the last couple of days mostly to the Christians, is a genocide. What's happening is what happened 200 years ago with the Jews.
Dr. Ahmed hears stories of the barbarism of ISIS.
That ISIS was killing, shooting the kids and the people, and they are laying them on the ground, and they bring tractors that they walk over them in the front of their families. They take women out of their houses. So let's say each family that they have three daughters, they would take one.
In the wake of the ISIS advance, thousands of ethnic Yazidis escaped to a mountain outside the town of Sinjar, while these Christians found shelter at this Catholic compound in Erbil. A few weeks ago, these families fled when ISIS cleansed Mosul of Christians. ISIS gave them an ultimatum.
They gave us 4 choices: either convert to Islam, or paying tax, or leaving the city, or the sword. They are using the sword to cut off hand and also beheading others. So I don't think this is the behavior of human beings, but wild animals do that.
ISIS looted their properties and left them destitute. They took this woman's dentures, wedding ring, and documents.
They took everything. We asked them, please give us something to show that we owned our car, our home. They said, here you have nothing.
ISIS searched the home of one Christian in Mosul and discovered these 2 New Testaments, one with a camouflage on the cover and the other with an American flag inside. They accused him of being both a missionary and a spy. ISIS put his name on a list. He told his story, but asked us to hide his identity.
Hey, stop, get back. You are a Christian. The terrorist told me we will kill you.
Sometimes the pressure is overwhelming.
Please save me. Oh, the terrorist. Forgive them. Because they didn't know. They didn't know what they were, what they act.
Even though these Christians are the original people of the region, many simply want to leave. They're pleading for the U.S., the UN, and Pope Francis to help.
We are asking the responsible states of the international community to come and look and see how all the people are living here.
Chris Mitchell, CBN News, Erbil, Kurdistan.
This is Gary Lane reporting. The ongoing U.S. air campaign in northern Iraq over the weekend helped Iraqi Kurdish forces regain 2 towns held by Islamic State fighters. On Saturday, 2 U.S. fighter jets struck several targets near Sinjar. Democrats praised the president's decision to launch the airstrikes.
I think these targeted strikes are very effective. The Kurds are very aggressive. With this support, I think they will be able to stabilize the situation in the north.
And with arms provided by the United States. The Obama administration has decided to send direct military weapons to the Kurdish military, the Peshmerga. Previously, the U.S. sent military aid only to the Iraqi government. Will it be enough to stop the Islamic militants? On Meet the Press Sunday, New York Congressman Peter King said the Islamic State is a formidable foe, stronger than al-Qaeda.
David, they have 10 times, 20 times more money than al-Qaeda ever had. They have much more weapons than al-Qaeda ever had. And ISIS has hundreds of foreign fighters with them available to come to the United States to attack us. That's the reality.
And while the U.S. military action has slowed the Islamic State advance for now, the Islamists still control the Mosul Dam, a big prize in the north, because it provides water and electricity to the entire area. Gary Lane, CBN News.
Thanks, Gary. I want to show you a map now of where it is you see this enormous red on that map, that is the territory that ISIS has taken. They've taken a huge swath of Syria and a huge swath of Iraq. And you see over to the right a small area that is the Kurdistan area, and Erbil, the capital, that's where our reporter is right now. Now, the Christians in Mosul have been cleansed out, and the Mosul Dam is at the north of that. And if that is ruptured, it can flood the entire Tigris-Euphrates Valley all the way down to Baghdad, and they can cut off the water of Baghdad. So you can see how strategic it is, lying between Turkey and Syria. If Syria falls to them, and it may, then what's next? Right below that is Jordan, and right beside that is Israel. And the rest of Iraq, then you're looking at who knows where they want to go. But I think, in my opinion, I've been praying. The Christians there are in desperate shape. Those people that are in the Sinjar Mountains, a small sect, in desperate shape. And although the president has done something, I think he's too late. He kept saying, well, Maliki has to form a government before we can help. And finally, they realized the Peshmerga forces of the people in Kurdistan, the Kurds, will fight, but they didn't have any ammunition. They ran out of bullets. So finally, we're getting something to us. Well, I am privileged to say that on this program, we have a retired general, Paul Vallely. He has more than 15 years' experience in special operations and other military operations during 22 years of distinguished service in the Army. General, it's a pleasure to have you with us on the 700 Club.
Good morning, Pat. Happy to be with you and to be able to add some information to your program this morning on the Middle East.
Well, I need it very badly. I understand you're in touch with 4 intelligence teams working in Iraq. What are they telling you?
Well, the intel teams that we have basically are out of Turkey and the Free Syrian Army inside Syria, who I've been working with for about 18 months. I've been in the Middle East 5 times, Pat, in the last 18 months, and the only one has been inside Syria as far as Aleppo last year, and then to Egypt twice within the last 7 months. So by being over there on the ground, you can certainly get a better idea of that chessboard. When you look at that map, Pat, look at it as a chessboard. Look at all the players there. Now you see that red area you were talking about is the beginning of the Levant, which extends all the way from Turkey all the way down to Egypt. And so ISIS will continue to tear down those borders and continue to expand as they recruit around the world. And they got recruits coming in from all over the place, Europe, Middle East, as well as the United States. So this is a real dire situation. Much worse in many ways than Hitler in this genocide that's going on.
General, do you think the president understands what's happening? It looks like he was just dribbling aid to the Peshmerga. They were ready to fight. I know from a political standpoint, he didn't want to put, quote, boots on the ground, so we've got some airstrikes. We won't stop ISIS with just airstrikes, will we?
Well, we can, but when you say boots on the ground, it's sort of a misnomer because we always have intel on the ground. And in the case over there, we have special operations forces that provide air ground operations, just like if you remember the beginning of Afghanistan in the fall of 2001, with 100 special operators and CIA paramilitary and air power. We basically purged the entire al-Qaeda and Taliban forces. And of course, they fled into Pakistan. And we did that in 34 days. So with the proper air power, the use of the combat Talons, the MC-130s, gunships, we have B-52s, Diego Garcia, we have the fleet forces with the George Bush aircraft carrier group. We have assets in Italy. So we have plenty of assets to come in there. And Pat, here's what I would do. I would give a general patent order. And I would tell the 4-star, the head of Central Command, 2 words: destroy ISIS. That's all they need. Let the generals win this thing and get it over, and let the rest of the country stand up as well and join in, because it's going to affect them in the Middle East and Europe and other parts of the world just the same in this global caliphate that's forging on.
Is that order ever going to be given?
If I was there, I would give it, but under President Obama, he's such an amateur. He basically lives in the twilight zone, as his staff does, his national security team does. We've got to get a better national security team in there. We've got to remove the people in Washington because they're taking us on national suicide, and you can see the suicide that's going on in the Middle East by the countries not participating and assisting to destroy ISIS. So we just need strong leaders, and we don't have them right now, unfortunately.
You talking about Secretary of State, Secretary of Defense, and President? You talk about all three of them?
Susan Rice, all of them need to go. They need to be replaced immediately. Now, unfortunately, in our Constitution, we can only do impeachment, but we are generating what we call a no-confidence resolution in Congress this week that hopefully will lead to impeachment, because we cannot let this regime in Washington continue to take us over the cliff. We just can't do it. America is too special to all of us, and our national security, without it, Pat, we have nothing.
Let's talk about over the cliff. What happens? I mean, I have this sense in my heart, and I really feel deeply about this, and I'm sure you do too, that this inaction is going to destroy us. How critical is it over the cliff? What happens if we don't act?
Well, then you hope for divine intervention. But there will be cataclysmic events. There will be cataclysmic events within the year, I can tell you that, for what I foresee out there. But when we purge the military, when we give pink slips to our forces and members over in Afghanistan now, and they're coming back, the entire military, senior officers, enlisted people have been purged of what they can train with. They can't even say radical Islam. They don't know how to say and won't say victory anymore. So we need very strong leaders in Washington today to be able to turn this country around. And I call it national suicide. I call America at a crossroads right now. America at a crossroads.
Let's take a few of the tactical things in front of us. What would you do with Peshmerga? What would you do with that Sinjar, those civilians, those people that are isolated? What would you do for them?
Well, I would use my special operator forces, less than 100 over there, to make sure that the inventories and the ammunition and the weapons are provided to Peshmerga immediately. We can bring them in by air. We have airfields up there in Kurdistan. We certainly can still bring into Baghdad airport, though I understand last night they tightened up the security in Baghdad to the nth degree that they had not done before, because they feel that Baghdad's being encircled. At the same time, I would target, laser target those targets of convoys, mass command and control troops that we can find over there. And, you know, we can pinpoint a license plate on a car with our intelligence capability. So we can find where they are, hunt them out, target them, and take them out. Destroy ISIS. That's the word.
General, I commend you. You're a great patriot, and I couldn't agree with you more with what you're saying. Thank you so much for being here, and may God bless you.
God bless you, Pat. Let's have some divine intervention.